second grade, we are going to be making these top-down snowmen. And the reason we call them top-down is because we are actually creating them from the perspective as if we were a bird flying overhead over the snowman. This is the perspective of the snowman that we would see. We're not going to see him up. We're not going to see him like this. We're actually over the top of the snowman. So we will have tracers today. You will need I call it a papa ball, a mama ball, and a baby ball to create our snowman. You'll have a white piece of paper to trace the snowballs on. You will have a background paper, a light blue, dark blue, oil pastel, a black, a white, a pencil, and scissors to create this. We'll have our white crayon to create our details in the background. And then you're also going to have just some scratch paper, just scratch paper to create the details, the nose, the sticks, and the scarf. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we need to trace our snowballs. Now you have this half a piece of paper because all of this is going to fit on half a piece of paper. This way we're not wasting a lot of paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace my biggest one first. This is my papa ball. This is going to be my mama ball, the upside down. And this is going to be the baby ball or the head of the snowman. All right, so I'm going to actually get this big circle as close as I can to the end. And I'm going to trace it. Do not put it in the center, because if you put it in the center, you're not going to have any room for your other two snowballs. So make sure that you put it as far over as you can. And you're going to trace it. And you will need to share these with your tabletop partners. All right, now I'm going to do my next biggest one, which is going to be my mama ball. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you do it this way, it's not going to fit. You have to flip the cup upside down. That gives you a perfect mama ball circle for the snowman. So what you're going to do is, again, you're going to have to leave room for this baby one. So, excuse me, make sure you kind of come to as close as you can to the top. And come to about right there. And I'm going to trace this one. Perfect. And then I'm going to do my little baby ball will fit right here. Perfect. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create this little, this blue outline around the snowman. And to create that look, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace, before I cut them out, I'm going to create that little blue outline. I'm going to trace the ball in this dark blue. Dark blue first. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, I am then going to come right up underneath that blue line and I'm going to trace in light blue. I don't want to leave any white space in between. I want to make sure that I get right up next to the blue line. So I will pause it. Okay, so this is where we're actually going to create some magic. And we're going to do that just by using our fingertip. And what we're going to do is we're just going to rub. And if you notice, whenever I rub, it actually blends like paint. And you're going to do this with all three of your snowman circles, and it's going to create this beautiful, smooth, blended outline around your snowman. Okay, so before we cut them out, we're actually going to go ahead and add his little eyes and his mouth. And if you notice from this perspective, his mouth is going to be at the bottom of his face. So we're going to take our black crayon on the baby ball, call that the baby ball. We're going to put him some eyes. And then we're going to come right along the edge of the ball and we're just going to do a little snowman mouth using some little black buttons. Just like that. And of course his nose will be in the center. Alright, and then we're going to cut them out. Okay, so I have them all cut out. The next thing you're going to do is then you're going to get your little background paper. you will glue down the papa ball first, the mama ball right on top, and the baby ball right on top of that. Now remember, just use drops, not a lot of glue. Once you have glue that starts oozing out of the sides, your picture is not as attractive. So you need to make sure that it does not take much glue. Just use drops, not a lot. When you are done with that, you will then cut out a nose. Now I will tell you, with a snowman nose, you have to make sure, even though we know that it's a triangle, you have to make sure that it is a long, skinny triangle, not a fat one, not a little short fat one. It has to be long and skinny. Okay, and you will actually put his nose right in the center right in between his eyes. Okay, from that perspective, it's going to look like his nose is right about there on his face. Now, when you are done with that, you will then add your own little stick arms. I have some brown and black construction paper that you will just kind of stick out of. Now remember, we always know that if we're going to stick sticks in a snowman, we always do it in his belly. Well, remember, the mama ball is the belly of the snowman, so you want to make sure that you stick them out of the mama ball of the snowman. And when we make his scarf, we're not going to actually see the scarf all the way around his neck because his head will be covering it. If we're looking down at a snowman, all we're going to see is the little scarf, kind of just the little ends of the scarf that's wrapped around. And I'm going to show you a really nice little trick to create that. All you will need are 2 rectangles. And what you do is you actually crisscross. You'll actually glue them up underneath the baby ball. And you just kind of crisscross them on the side. You see how I just kind of crisscross them? So that's a little trick. If you want to add detail, and if you want to cut the little ends so that it looks like it's kind of frayed at the bottom, you can do that. So I'll just kind of cut. So it just depends on how much detail you want to do. And then, of course, you'll get a white crayon, and you're going to add some snow, some snowflakes, and some swirls in the background. So when you're done, you should have a piece that looks like this. Also, make sure when you do your carrot, add the detail. Otherwise, it looks like a beak. So what you want to do is you want to take your black crayon, and you want to add just a few little black lines on each side of the triangle, and that turns it into a carrot instead of a beak. Perfect. Okay, have fun. You get to carry these home today.